Yo, what is up guys, Bobbity7 King here, and today we are going to be doing another dream casting video, this time doing brains versus Braun versus beauty. Where this idea came up to me because I'm playing in my friend's game, and the theme is that, so I figured why not make my own cast for Disventure camp. This is a dream cast, so yeah, everyone is on the table, and like what I said in my favorites recast, I do not care about the gender ratio, since Disventure camp doesn't, so yeah, I have free will, and each team will have 6 people, so let's get started. And we're starting things off as a brains, and not gonna lie, this field is pretty stacked. I considered 2, well, really just 1 person, and that's Dan. I think Dan is a better player than I gave him credit for. If he isn't idled out, I think he could have been a pretty sly player. However, I find Dan to be really boring and not that entertaining to watch, and if I had the chance to make an all-star cast with this team, I really don't need Dan back. I also considered Alec, but come on, dude. We're going generation by generation, and the first person on the cast might be a controversial choice since she just played again, and it's Ali. I think Ali has proven to be a great player, who was just taken out really by luck. I think she's entertaining, she's interesting, and she delivers from all aspects. She fits the theme of being a brain because, well, she's a gamer.
I am 100% not letting these house guests know that I'm a gamer.
There's 4 people from Carnival of Chaos, which might be overkill. However, the first person we're talking about is someone who I think could thrive on another season from both a gameplay and character level, and it's Amelie. Amelie's someone who learned about how to become emotionally intelligent and compassionate. She's already a successful wedding player and has proved that she can adapt her strategy. Despite, in my opinion, not capitalizing on her game in the best way at the merge, she still played decently well, so yeah, she's here. The next person is someone who I had on my favorites cast, and it's Sister Isabel. Isabel pre-season 5 is a top 3 Disventure camp player of all time. Lethal pre-merge game, active play at the merge, and pulls some crazy moves despite some of them not being the best long term. Still though, she's very savvy, so yeah, she's here, and it goes without saying that she will provide great TV. Speaking of good TV, the next person on the cast is obviously known in the fandom for being great TV, and it's Jade. Jade is a marine biology student. I don't think I have to tell you guys that marine biology is a pretty difficult subject. As well, like Sister Isabel, Jade is one of the smartest Disventure camp players of all time. With these two together, I would be interested to see them potentially run the game together again. The final Carnival of Chaos player, which might be overkill to have 4 out of 6 be on the same team, but I think he and Amelie are the most likely to switch things up, and it's Ted Gordon. I think this tribe is where Ted can succeed strategically. While there's a chance that all the girls can get together again, I think he could pull over Ali, Amelie, and most definitely the final person on the cast. Ted is a fun, savvy poker player, and while not strategically the best player in the world, he is a fun, scrappy underdog, so yeah, he's on the cast. And the final person from the fans versus favorites, and it's Bruno. Bruno is a super fan and is super knowledgeable about Disventure camp. He's a strong presence in challenges and is also a quick thinker. I think Bruno's geeky personality will be super personable to Ali, Jade, and Ted. I think Ted and Bruno can have a father-son dynamic with nothing but wholesome moments between these two. And now moving on to the Brain tribe, and shockingly, there's no alternates, so we can just get to the cast already. From season 1, first off, we have a couple, and it's Will and Ashley. Like I said in how my Disventure camp failed Will, Zaid, and Marissa video, Will needs to step outside of Ashley's boyfriend. However, since I decided to have 18 people instead of my rough draft of 15 people, I needed to add someone, and as iconic as Miriam would have been, her health scares in All-Stars makes me nervous to even think about putting her on. Plus, Ashley is a better fit, she had such a sad elimination in All-Stars, Will is in dire need of becoming a real character, and Ashley has a lot of potential to be a great character, so yeah, both of them made the cast. The third and final person of season 1 on this team, and it's Grett. Grett proved to find her own strengths from personal and challenge lens. She cut off her abusive boyfriend and was a strong challenge performer. She wins the puzzle and also did a pull-up. I mean, granted, the puzzle was pretty easy as hell, and that's coming from someone who isn't really that smart. But hey, she's still a strong, powerful woman, and I do think Grett really fits the theme of being a Braun, considering her whole fitness influencer era. The next few people come from Carnival of Chaos, and the first one is Marissa. I need to see Marissa on her own. I think her and Ashley will get along well since they're both above average women as far as strengths goes. Also, with her non-listing, that must mean that she's obviously prepping for a call to return. Unless there's a greeting out there saying that she'll never play again, then I never said that. I think Marissa is a pretty clear choice for Braun since, you know, she's literally fucking jacked. And same thing for the other choice, Richard. I know not many people are clamoring for a Richard return. I would be confused if they picked him since his story's over, but that doesn't mean he doesn't fit the theme, and that doesn't mean that Richard isn't a fun character. I think Richard is pretty underrated as an overall player, and is more capable than his game actually showed. He's dominant in challenges, kicking people's butts who are almost half his age. I'm sorry, I'm still kind of a Total Drama fan where I kind of just lump all the characters' ages as like early 20s. You can imagine my shock to finding out Jake and Tom's ages when All Stars was airing. And yeah, Richard is just And yeah, Richard is a fun character to watch, and I have a personal connection for my Canadian brother. And the final person who is also a bit older on the cast, and it's Ernesto. Ernesto is Ted and Miriam if you had to explain Ted and Miriam in a sentence. Miriam is experienced in the most randomest hobbies, and Ted is an overestimator guy with a beard belly. No shade. Ernesto was one of the best performing characters on the fans tribe, which isn't saying much, but it is true. Ernesto would be fun in the return, and I think casting another older person would help balance out the ages a bit. Now finally for the beauty team. I need this team to be canon for visual reasons. Anyways, people who I did consider, James is someone who would be a lot of fun in the return, fits the tribe theme very well of being, well, beautiful, but he's also messy and strategic. However, like Ellie not being on my dream cast for the favorites, I really just don't want to mess up James's success. Plus, there's another season 2 rep that I would just rather see. I considered Ren because I think they're like Tai Train from Survivor, where they're just a beautiful human on the inside, but unlike Ted, Ren is also beautiful on the outside as well. No shade to Tai, I'm just being objective here. Main reason why they didn't make the cast is because I wanted this team to be more cutthroat, and Ren just doesn't fit that. I thought about Hannah because, well, she's beautiful, but she doesn't want to play again. I have little to no interest in seeing Hannah play again, and if she was on this team, she'd have the same arc as she did in Carnival of Chaos, which I do not need to see again for the second time. Finally, the person who almost made the cast, Mr. Beautiful, smooth talking Sam. He was on the cast for the longest time until I realized something. Considering the scene that Ari and Dunia share, they're probably going to be on decent terms, and spoilers, they're both on the cast, so I could see them easily throwing Sam to the wolves, and I don't want Sam to ever be an early boot, as selfish as that sounds. Even though I could see Sam on 100 seasons, I think with the theme and how my casting process is, I just can't risk putting him on. Now let's just go from recent generation to the oldest, and yeah, Dunia and Ara are on the cast. Both have memorizing designs, and when the cast first came out, I was an Ara fan because, well, look at her. However, during the season, Dunia won me over because, like Ren said, she is tea. Beyond their looks, they're both entertaining characters who are gone way too soon, and I like another season to explore their depth on their own without their counterparts. And it looks like we have another pair to talk about because we have Zaid. Literally copy and paste what I had to say for Will and Ashley. I think Zaid has all the traits to be an amazing character if he got more solo content, and while Ivy being here is kind of contradicting that, I just cannot leave Ivy off the cast. She's one of my favorite characters and proves that beauty isn't just skin deep just because she has a few slip-ups. These two are great individually, together, and they're also one of the hottest couples of Disventure camp. In the final pair, OG Toxic Yuri, and it's Rosa and Riya. Now that Rosa has picked up the duality of the game and can handle it, without Lake's influence, I think she could be a deadly player with her social game. Riya's story may be done, sure, but I don't think that she's fodder on this team. Rosa may be targeting her and would gun for her, but I think Riya could connect well with Ara, and since Ivy is more open-minded than black and white sinker Anastasia, I think Ivy would be more receptive to hearing her out. Also, Rosa and Dunia interacting together would be pretty peak, so they're the final two on the cast. Also, with this team being all women plus Zaid who lives with all women, this easily makes for my favorite team dynamic. And that's my dream cast for Disventure Camp Brains vs Brawn vs Beauty, a cast that I'm actually pretty proud of, and I would love to see how a season like this would actually go down. I mean, I could make a what if, but I'm not really a what if guy, so maybe someone else could. There were some alternates that could have been on the cast like Hunter, but I just didn't really know where to place him as he could have went anywhere. But I think there's more defining reasons for other people to make the cast than Hunter, so that's why I kind of just left him off. Carol could have helped make the cast feel a little more mature, but I just didn't feel like she was the best fit for any team. I dislike Anastasia, but I did consider her for the beauty team, even though her personality isn't beautiful whatsoever. Finn fits no theme. Tristan could have been on for Tai Train reasons, but I just didn't go through with it. I love Linda, but like Finn, she doesn't really fit any theme. There's also some characters that could have been in contention, but I think Season 5 is using characters like Lake, Spencer, and Natalia to their fullest, so I'm not that interested in seeing them return anytime soon. Obviously, I know that Season 6 will be all newbies, at least to my knowledge, but this is just my hypothetical cast if it wasn't. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you all enjoyed. I love you all so much, and yeah, peace out. Stay tuned for more.